superseding indictments on the way. First you had the first criminal complaint, then you had the actual indictment. Also, one more thing, Big U is not being charged federally for the murder of Rayshawn Williams. I repeat, he is not being federally charged for the murder of Rayshawn Williams. More updates on the way, and see y'all soon.
What it do, y'all? It's Coffee. Back at it with some updates, man. And you hear Christopher Lovejoy. He said, new updates here at the Bureau. Y'all remember the Census Bureau? It's the people from the Census Bureau. You know, they want to do Ish for the Hood and all that. The Census Bureau? The Wash, man. What a classic movie. Tap in if you rocked with The Wash. Remember when Eminem came running in? He said, who was that? Trady was like, man, that fool strapped. But Christopher Lovejoy giving an update here, doing this clowning around, this trolling that he works for the feds. Some would say it ain't just trolling. You know, there's that old saying about trolling or clowning around or whatever, that some people are trying to tell you the truth at the same time. Comment if you think he's just clowning and you believe that he is indeed the feds. But he says there's new updates on the way in the Big U case. But one of the things that has been put out there that people noticed as, you know, the complaint and then the indictment and, you know, future documents were coming out, that the murder of Rayshawn Williams, that is not on the federal side of things. That's going to be a state case in Nevada. The Fed case is, you know, other charges, extortion, ex-trafficking, you know, stuff with his nonprofits and all that. But the murder is going to stay a state charge in Nevada. Then we got Azizz out of the legendary Outsidaz, man. Brick City, New Jersey representatives. And Azizz, man, he took over the blogosphere a few years back, man, when he came with his whole Stanuary movement, where he was getting at Eminem. He was trying to get him up out of the game before Trump left office. Ain't that crazy? Now here we are. Trump is back in office and he's still here. The stands hated Azizz, and you know, like him, dislike him. He definitely had some motion. He definitely had some momentum behind him. Some would say he didn't deliver when he had that momentum, but here he is now, still doing him. Has some businesses open where he's selling, like, go check his page out if you're interested at all. He's into the natural side of things. We'll put it like that and leave it like that. But when it comes to Eminem, I saw recently too, he shared an old clip where Eminem was shouting out Azizz when he was shouting out the outs, as if you recall on the Slim Shady LP. He constantly was giving outsiders shout outs. Outsidaz, and we suing the courts because, you know, we dope as fuck and only get a 2 in the source. And on when you like had it up to here, when you mad enough to scream, where he's like pace 1. They did a bunch of about it. Comment if you remember when Eminem was shouting out the outs like that and all that. But here Azizz is still doing himself, and even though he has a permanent disdain for Eminem, you see he does indeed have love for Big Proof. Alright, Proof, a D12. Proof was involved in a lot of side projects besides D12, you know, to the stands and mainstream wise with Eminem, you know, rocking with D12, and there's a lot of offshoots of that some Eminem fans know about, some don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, Proof was beloved, man. Yeah, Goon Squad was something that he was a part of. There was this one, what was it, Promatic and Dogmatic or whatever, that he did a project with. He had his own solo joint with the "We Like the Girls with the Boom" that was not on Shady Records. He had his own little thing, Iron Fist Records or whatever, right? Like, I never understood why Proof and other cats that, M flucked with, when it came to their solo work, it wasn't put out under the Shady Records banner. Like if M had his own imprint under Shady Records, why didn't he put Proof, Royce, other artists, affiliates like that out under his banner? I never quite understood it, But Proof was the truth. Even The Game, if you guys recall, The Game, after the Interscope, Shady, Aftermath, G-Unit, he had split from all of them. And then eventually we saw G-Unit split from under the Interscope umbrella. And I think they went independent. I don't know if at a certain point, 50 Cent fell out with Jimmy Iovine. It was wild. But anyways, when The Game had split from everyone, he put it out on that since there's no proof, all the pictures of me and M, I burned them. What do you say? So there's no proof I never walked through 8 Mile. And so since there's no proof, I'll never walk through 8 Mile. Like, he ain't got nothing to do with M. And since there's no proof, he never will. And on that Why You Hate the Game, he was like, it reminds me of when my dude Proof was in the booth and he recited his rhyme. Like, everyone seemed to really be moved by Proof as an artist, as a person, just a very charismatic individual, loved, respected, and all that. And Azizz, sworn enemy for life of Eminem. Got love for Big Proof. R.I.P. Proof. And then to close the news out on this one, Cuban Link, former Terror Squad member, man, with the big old $150 on his face, man. Comment what y'all heard about the $150. Fat Joe sliced him up. That's wild, man. It was a shame seeing Terror Squad beef and fall out and all that after Pun's passing, man. Pun was the truth, man. Pun was so nice on the mic, lyrically, the way he delivered those bars and them rhymes. And we've heard the stories too, how Pun was not to be played with at all, whether you were in the industry, out of the industry. Just like, what's his name, DJ Who Kid was bootlegging the wrong tracks, and he found himself hemmed up in a van, and he didn't know if he was gonna live or not, man. Big Pun didn't play about his. But Cuban Link, he was nice, man. You guys remember the TS album? Comment if you rock with that Triz joint where the video had the 9 squares, like, what's it called? Like the Brady Bunch type joint. Cuban Link was nice, man, but then I don't know, things just didn't work out. I remember too, he had a Telling Lies to Me, his own solo joint. Was that Angie Martinez on it with him? I can't recall, but I don't know if his budget got plucked up or what. I miss that era of hip hop, late 90s, mid to late, early 90s to all the way to the early 2000s or whatever. Man, back then, like, BET used to feature some I don't want to say semi-underground, but some lesser-known hip-hop acts or whatever, man. Everything got flucked up these days. But Cuban Link at one time really looked like he was going to be the next one to blow up out of TS. Comment if you were a fan of Terror Squad, though, who you thought was the dopest. Triple Sace, Armageddon, who did you rock with or whatever. But Cuban Link has done a lot of interviews going in on Fat Joe, saying Fat Joe is just all bad, all flucked up out here, according to Cuban Link. He flucked everything up. Fat Joe says he's a miserable liar who wakes up to Hennessy for breakfast, and you can just tell how he's unhappy with himself. You know what I mean? That he aged so many years rapidly and all that, and you know, because he's dead wrong or whatever. But you see Hocus 4/5 here exposing that Cuban link is robbing, you know, independent artists on some scammery, charging them for verses, $1,000, and just pocketing it, man. I don't know. If you want to see more about it, go over to Hocus 4/5's page. There's some recordings, there's some audio and stuff like that. But I don't know. The whole Terror Squad fallout was wild. Cuban link. You know, what did you think about it all? Did y'all ever hear too them rumors back in the day there was going to be a Scarface 2 and he was going to play the son of Tony Montana? I don't know if that was just some talk or whatever. You know, because there was this part where Tony Montana was talking about how Michelle Pfeiffer's character, from all the chi get the yayo she was doing, she could not conceive a child, right? But in the sequel, supposedly, that I heard, like, she did conceive a child, and then, you know, Cuban Link was going to play that child as an adult. Who knows if that was just cap or rumors, you know? So crazy the way rumors used to get around before the internet. Now it makes sense. The same rumors make it everywhere, but back then, why was it like that, you know? But that's it for the news on this one. Hit the comments with your thoughts on all these topics. Subscribe, and I'm going to get with you on the next one. Peace.